Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Shameen Miller, and if you haven't been here before, welcome. I create videos all around fasting, more specifically the snake diet, and anything related to living an amazing, exciting, happy life. In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about dry fasting. There's a lot of you that have found your way to my channel because the first video you may have seen from me is when I did my 5-day hard dry fast. So what I did before I even got into doing that super hardcore dry fast, I actually started out with fasting back in March of this year. I reached out to Cole Robinson and he had created a video called How Dry Fasting Can Cure Herpes. And I told him that, hey, I have genital herpes and you said in a video that you can help me cure the herpes. So I started out on a fasting routine and little did I know it, I lost a bunch of weight, I became a lot happier, and it has brought me to where I am today. I have made a video about why I started fasting, and then I also talked about in a subsequent video about how the dry fasting didn't necessarily actually help cure my herpes. However, it really helps keep my herpes at bay so I don't get flare-ups anymore. And I don't have to take acyclovir, which is a suppressant therapy that I put myself on to, make sure that I wasn't getting the herpes flare-ups anymore. I used to be very scared at the beginning to tell people that I had herpes and I contracted it, I'm thinking at least a few years ago, but really I could have gotten it earlier, even maybe in my 20s, but it's a type of virus that actually sits dormant in the nerves at the bottom of the spinal cord. So doctors can never really test to see if you actually have it until you have a flare-up. There is testing for antibodies and all this other stuff that you can do. But anyways, I know that I've got it and I don't know when I got it, but whatever, that is kind of how it brought me to fasting. So the reason why I'm making this video is because I do get a lot of questions about dry fasting. So from that 5-day hard dry fast video that I had made, I've received a lot of positive and negative comments on that video, and I've just received just a lot of stupid comments on there in general from people. But whatever, people are uneducated and they don't really know and they haven't experienced anything, so they're kind of just using, the knowledge that they don't have whatsoever based on the stupid stuff that people say that, dry fasting is no good for you and you are gonna die. But y'all ain't gonna die. So in this video, I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about the history of dry fasting, the benefits of it, what it does in your body, as well as how you can actually do a dry fast, whether you are a beginner or you have had many fasting experiences under your belt. So what is a dry fast? Quite simple, no eating or no drinking. There are two types of dry fast. There is a soft dry fast and a hard dry fast. A soft dry fast means that you can come into contact with water, so you can shower, you can brush your teeth, you can wash your hands, but you still cannot eat or drink. And a hard dry fast is where you abstain from water altogether. Another name for a hard dry fast is called a black fast. Fasting has been around for a very long time. Muslims dry fast every single year for the month of Ramadan. Okay, let me just clear this up. Muslims will dry fast from sunrise to sunset, and they will eat at nighttime. Dr. Filanov, a Russian doctor in Russia, has been conducting dry fast experiments on people for many years, and he recommends that you don't actually do any dry fasting until you get a number of water fasts under your belt. I had done a number of water fasting before I actually had started dry fasting, because water fasting at the very beginning, it's hard, but when you try and do a dry fast, that's no joke, and it takes your body a while to get used to it. Before I even attempted my dry fast, I did a 48-hour wet fast, and I also did a 2 72-hour wet fasts. And when I did my first dry fast, it was really hard. Hey guys, I'm having actually a pretty good hair day today here. I just took off my makeup, but I got a little bit of a mini zit here that I'm hoping to fast away. So far in the last 4 days, I've actually lost about 5 pounds. I did 2 days of a snake juice diet, which was water with potassium and salt. And I refed, so I ate last night, and then I'm doing now 2 days of the dry fast. So I feel pretty good. If you saw me in person, you'd be able to tell it.
For my nails to dry right now, I've just got my head resting here on this table. I'm 40 hours into a 72-hour dry fast. I said I was going to do just a 2-day, but I think I can push it for a 3-day. It's not that bad. My breath kind of...
If only this was real water. Oh my God, I'm actually so thirsty right now, guys. It's fucking... I don't know how many hours, 2 days. It's 45 hours that I've gone without water and out food. I am a little bit thirsty though. So the initial fast actually was supposed to be 72 hours. And then I kind of complained to the coach and I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do that. And then earlier in the morning today, I was like, oh, okay, I think I can do it. But now I'm just like, I don't even know. So I'm not really sure how much more I'm going to last until tomorrow. What happens in the body when you do a dry fast? So your body will actually survive on something called metabolic water, which is the metabolization of fat cells. So fat cells obviously are made of saturated fats, and there's a bunch of like hydrogen molecules that are in there. Once you actually start using your fat for energy through the process of the ketosis, you will actually start releasing hydrogen atoms from your saturated fat, and when it mixes in from the outside air, which is oxygen, the H's matches with the O's and it creates H2O, which creates your own metabolic water in your system. And this water is actually like the purest water of them all because your body is creating it. When I did my 5-day hard dry fast, I was still urinating every single day. When people tell me that your body can't create water, they're just stupid. And if people tell you that your body doesn't create water during a dry fast, tell them to go and read some stuff online because clearly they're just giving you information about something that they don't know anything about. So your body does create water. And did you know that your body actually absorbs carbon dioxide and nitrogen to create its own amino acids? Super cool. So during a dry fast, the body actually doesn't eliminate toxins the same way it does during a water fast. So instead of eliminating toxins through the normal means of elimination, which would be like the liver, the skin, kidneys, urine, and bowels, it actually turns each cell into like these mini tiny little incinerators and burns the toxins up inside of them. So this unique mechanism is called autophagy, and I've talked about this to you guys many times before. So this means diseased or weakened cells actually die off because it's a survival of the fittest scenario in place. A wet environment is ideal for the proliferation of bacteria, viruses, and worms, and a water shortage is death. So think of this like as a swamp. If there's a swamp out there and there's a bunch of water, you'll see all the insects and the mosquitoes that are hanging around there, doing their thing, partying it up. But when the water is all gone and is dry, you will not find any insects anywhere. And lastly, because inflammation cannot exist without water, dry fasting is like a highly effective tool to deal with any acute health issues and degenerative conditions. So I really like this analogy I found it the other day about inflammation. Inflammation are swollen tissues with water, and that is where an infection is having a party. So that is why they always say that, you know, you've got to have decreased inflammation in your system because your inflammation is higher, you are more prone to getting sick, and that is definitely true. I got to tell you guys this. Before I started my carnivore experiment, I went to go and do a bunch of blood tests, and I did one for inflammation, which is called C-reactive protein. And guys, my C-reactive protein, my inflammation in my body is so low because I fast every single day. I do a 1 meal a day routine. So it already showed me there that even though I might have cheat days on certain types of things, my body inflammation is still very low. And knock on wood, I have not gotten sick in a very long time ever since I started fasting. So one of the obvious things that happen with the dry fast is that you lose weight very fast, okay? Like you lose all that water weight within the first couple days, so your body weight decreases significantly. However, in Dr. Philinow's book called Dry Medical Fasting, he has seen many illnesses healed through dry fasting, such as you can actually find a PDF version of this book online. However, just keep in mind that the English in it is very terrible. The book was actually written initially in Russian, and it looks like somebody had taken the wording of it and put it into Google Translate, and it kind of spit out the book. So overall, you know, like it'll be very hard to read, but you'll end up getting the gist about dry fasting if you want a little bit more further information about dry fasting. So there are a bunch of other resources that are online, guys, so just do your research if you're not really sure if you want to do it. But the best way to be able to determine if a dry fast is for you is to actually do the experiment with it. So in this section here in this video, I'm now going to talk to you about how to do the dry fast. So if you are a first timer to dry fasting, don't be stupid, okay? I know that you watched my 5-day hard dry fast video, and I got so many messages from people saying, I'm ready to do my 5-day hard dry fast. And then people tell me that they're fail within like the first day. So don't be stupid. Like I trained for that 5-day hard dry fast. Like I told you, I had a number of wet fasts under my belt, and then I started trying some dry fasting. And once I lost all the weight, because the thing is, like, I wasn't that heavy to begin with when I started fasting. So I lost about 10 to 12 pounds. And then I started doing a daily dry fasting routine where I was dry fasting 22 hours a day and eating 1 meal a day within a 2-hour eating window. So if you are a first timer, I really highly recommend that you get a number of wet fasts under your belt before you even attempt to do a dry fast. I worked with Cole on a quick start guide for the snake diet, so I'll leave their video for that is in my description section down below, so you can take a look at that, and it's like a downloadable like PDF or JPEG as well, so you can look at the first week of what you can do to be able to get those wet fasts under your belt. So now once you've got like your wet fasting under your belt, I recommend to try it with like a 24 to a 48 hour dry fast first. See how you feel. You have to keep in mind the dry fasting, guys, is done specifically for healing purposes. It obviously helps with faster weight loss for sure, but just know when you're gonna refeed again and have water again, you're gonna be putting a bunch of that water weight back on. You are losing fat, obviously, during this time, but just know that the rebounding effect that's gonna happen on the scale when you refeed is gonna be a lot higher than what would happen if you're doing wet fast. So if you are doing a dry fasting specifically for weight loss, just don't, like maybe like if you do it, if you need to cut for like, to something really, really close, then maybe do it. But honestly, like if you're doing it for long-term weight loss, I just highly recommend just doing a number of wet fasts because dry fasting really is for healing purposes. So the next section here I'm going to talk to you about is doing the prolonged dry fast. So if you're going to be doing 48 hours or more, the most important thing that you have to remember, guys, entering a dry fast is just as important as exiting the dry fast. So when you enter a dry fast, make sure you are well hydrated. I get the question, how much should I be drinking? Honestly, I don't really know. I don't know your body. So as long as you feel well hydrated, then you are good to go. Make sure you're hydrated for like a few days before that, like I wouldn't say if you finish one dry fast, for a few days and then you did like one refeed and drink for a day, like go into another dry fast. Like I would recommend, have water for like a number of days till you really feel like your cells are rejuvenated and you've got all the water back in your body. Don't try and chug a bunch of it until the point where you feel sick, because you're just gonna feel sick and it's not gonna feel good, okay? And you're just gonna piss it out right away. So just be smart, just listen to your body, okay? What you eat before the dry fast, you can just eat your normal meal like you normally would, but when I did my 5-day hard dry fast, I did have a bunch of watermelon because that gave me a little bit more extra water in my system. So you can have some pretty high liquid fruits and vegetables, mostly it's just fruits. So I would have like the high liquid, high water content fruits. I would say specifically watermelons because those are just easier to go down and there's very heavy water content in it. And what I do suggest is before you go into the dry fast, do a liter of water with 1 teaspoon of baking soda. It will just really help settle the kidneys down because they eventually are going to get really, really hot over time when you are going through this fast. So you just want to make sure you prime them a little bit before you go into the dry fast. So since I talked about the entering, let me talk about the exit of the dry fast. And then I will talk to you guys about what you're supposed to be doing during the dry fast. When you exit, I recommend, again, doing the 1 liter of water to the 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Drink it very, very, very slow, okay? Like very, very slow, like just tiny little baby sips, and then just allow your body to take in that water again, because your digestive system was like, it was chilling, it got a nice little break, and now you're gonna wake it back up. So I recommend just taking things very, very slow. After you feel like you've hydrated a bunch and you are ready to eat, maybe a few hours later, then you can eat something. So you can eat like some fruit, some high water fruit, and like, again, just take that in very, very slow, just like little bites at a time, just chew it really, really well. And until your body feels really good, then, just relax, let it take its time, just give it its time that it needs. And then eventually a few hours later, when you feel like you actually are really hungry, then eat whatever you like. I wouldn't recommend eating like a piece of steak like right away, but just eat something, maybe something of like some light vegetables or like some plain meat, like not too overly flavored. And just again, chew it very, very slow and take your time swallowing it back. I'm gonna tell you guys this though, you will know what your body is gonna need because you have just spent so much time with it over the last few days with the fasting, and you will know when the stuff goes into your system, and if you try to eat really fast, you're gonna feel really sick like right away. So again, just remember and just trust me when I say take your time, and you will know once you get to the end of that fast. Now, what do you do during a dry fast? I'll be honest with you, just try to take your time You know, like just relax as much as possible if you can, especially when you get later into the days of the dry fast. You know, like maybe the first day, maybe the second day, you'll have a bit of energy and you can still go and do things. You maybe go for like a little bit of a walk. But when you get into day 3, 4, 5, whatever days it is, you know, like give your body the time to heal, because dry fasting is for healing. Don't go out and think you can go and exercise when you're doing this prolonged dry fast, because if you do, you're stupid. Okay, you are stupid. Don't do that. Give your body the time it needs, and when eventually your body is ready to go back to exercising again, you'll be able to exercise again. You know, like right now, okay guys, I am healing from breast implant surgery. Okay, I made a video about that before. I have to go 6 weeks without going to the gym. And the thing is, like, even though I desperately want to go to the gym and I miss it and I want to get my body back to the way it was before I went back into the surgery, I just know I can't, and I just need to give my body I need to give my body the time it needs to be able to heal. And so think about the same thing about the dry fasting. You know, like you guys are only going like a few days, you know, like it's a few days, you know, like you can give up exercising for a few days. So don't ask me if you can exercise when you're going to be doing this long dry fast, because you're going to eventually feel so crappy. You're going to feel so crappy and realize you don't have the energy to do it. So just don't do it. But if you want to exercise, go ahead. I don't care. You're eventually going to realize like, shit, I shouldn't have exercised. Lastly, when you do though a really long dry fast, guys, I recommend this for you. When I did the 5-day hard dry fast, like by the end, like it was really hard for me to even stand, and I was actually getting like muscle pains from standing up for 20 minutes straight, like in my calf muscles. It took me almost double the amount of time to recover. So from the 5 days of the hard dry fasting, it took me almost up to 2 weeks before I went back into the gym and had the energy to be able to lift weights again. If you don't give yourself a proper recovery period, you are going to pull a muscle. Okay, you are going to pull a muscle and it's not going to feel good, and you're going to be out of the gym longer. So just give your body what it needs. It needs the rest so that it can do its work. You know, like all you got to do is just lay there and do nothing. Your body is going to be doing all the work for you. So just give it what it needs. So it's pretty simple, guys. Okay, when you do a dry fast, no eating, no drinking. The longer you dry fast, do nothing. Like it's pretty much the do nothing diet, and this is the do nothing healing. So it's not so bad. But if you are going to be doing like a daily dry fasting on 1 meal a day, and you have enough fasting experience under your belt, you'll be able to exercise and you'll be fine, you know, like just experiment with it, try it out. But if you're at the very beginning, just don't be stupid, guys, okay? Just don't be stupid. Listen to all the things that I say and just don't be stupid. The last part of this video is going to be the questions that you guys have asked me about dry fasting. I put out a post during the week about what questions you might have on my Instagram story. So if you don't want to miss out on things like this, make sure that you follow me on Instagram. So I'll try to go through these very quick, okay? Do you lose more weight on a dry fast, or is it mostly just water weight? Yes, you definitely do. Like overall, your weight loss is a lot more within like the period of time that you are dry fasting, but there is a good percentage of it that is water weight. And as I had mentioned to you guys before, you will notice a bigger rebounding effect when you when you finish a dry fast to when you refeed on a dry fast versus then on a wet fast. I heard that 1 day of dry fasting is equivalent to 3 days of wet fasting. Is that true? Yes, it's true. Do you poop during a dry fast? Most of the time not, because you're not putting anything else in your system. You might poop before the dry fast, but you'll more likely end up pooping after the dry fast, after you have your refeed. Is dry fasting more effective over time when doing it with 1 meal a day? So what this question is, like when you do a 1 meal a day routine, should you be doing like, which one's better? Should you be wet fasting during the day with your 1 meal a day, or should you be dry fasting with your 1 meal a day? Honestly, it really just depends. Honestly, it really just depends. When you're doing a fasting routine on a 1 meal a day routine, whether it's wet or dry, you can still lose weight under both routines, as well as you can still maintain your weight under both routines. I would recommend doing the dry fasting though if you're looking to if you're looking to heal some health effects that you may have. For example, me, what I ended up doing though is like the reason why I did my daily dry fasting was because I had to prepare for my 5-day hard dry fast. However, I don't do daily dry fasting right now, but eventually I'll probably go back to it with my 1 meal a day. But right now I am doing my 1 meal a day routine with my wet fast. But things always change, so I don't know, it doesn't really matter. You can always change these things up. There is no hard and fast rule of what you should or shouldn't do. When do you, fuck that question. Can you give tips of how to cope with dry fasting and how you can can you give tips of how to cope with dizziness while dry fasting? Dizziness is inevitable the longer that you go with the dry fast, and what I recommend you do is to not move and just relax and just chill out, okay? Just chill out. Don't say that you want to be super hardcore, okay? Like, fuck hardcore, okay guys? I'm sorry for the language there, but just F it, like especially during a dry fast and like a prolonged dry fast. Hardcore is for you to be able to make that dry fast to the end. Do you have to make sure that you get in a certain amount of electrolytes at the start? Like maybe drink a bunch of snake juice before you guys go in. Again, make sure that you do the water with a baking soda. The thing is, like, the more fat that you have in the body, you have a ton of electrolytes that are all stored up in your fat cells. You know, you got a ton of calories that are in your body. Like, your body will be just fine. So I wouldn't really overly stress about how much you should be drinking of a certain thing. But if it makes you feel better for the first couple of days, drink a bunch of snake juice before that you go into it. And again, the water and the baking soda, or drink the new snake juice recipe. Now I'm going to end this video. One thing I just want to tell you guys, do not overcomplicate this stuff. People overcomplicate things so much, and it's no eating, no drinking, and just relaxing when you do a dry fast. It is done for healing purposes. That's it. And experiment with it. See how it feels. Watch my videos. Watch Cole's videos. Message people in the Snake Diet Motivation group. Read the comments of people in there. There's so much information that is out there about dry fasting, and while you are dry fasting, you're gonna have a lot more time in your hands. So just do your research, do your research. Don't be afraid, don't be afraid. It's not a scary thing, like going days without food and water is not the end of the world. You will not die. There's the thing there where it's like the 3 days of no eating, no drinking, and you're gonna die. It doesn't happen, okay? And like you saw that I got super skinny at the end of the 5 days. Like it was like anorexic skinny, so I did not really like that, but I was able to still survive. So our bodies are very, very smart. Don't take it for granted. Like we think that our minds think we're smarter than our bodies, but the thing is, like, our bodies, like, it pumps the heart without you, like, unconsciously. Like you don't make your heart pump, like your body does it. Like the brain does all of its different things. So there's all these different functions that are happening within the body, and so don't take it for granted. And like if you feel like you're gonna die, like you will know. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you'd like to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe down below. If you do have additional questions for me, though, put it in the description section down below, and I'll keep them all together, and maybe I'll make a subsequent follow-up video of dry fasting. If you have never dry fasted before, try it out once, at least to know that you can do it. Not everybody has to dry fast, not everybody does. But, if you have skin issues, or you're dealing with whatever it is, it could be, some kind of health issues that you're looking to try and heal, just try it out. I have made videos about, I have made a video about things that are healed through dry fasting. Again, the playlist to all of my snake diet videos will be in the description section down below, so you can watch those, watch that video, because it wasn't my health issues. They're all from other people that who are in the Snake Diet Motivation group who have shared their experiences. So anyways, guys, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I love you so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. When I do end up having something that I know that I shouldn't have, I actually don't feel guilty about it, because I know that I can have it, but I choose not to have it. Like that is a really big difference versus that you feel like there's an restriction that you can never have it. Because if you always feel that you're restricted, you are 9 times out of 10, maybe even 10 times out of 10, more significantly likely to binge on something. And I know that from personal experience, and I know that from a lot of experiences from you guys as well. So I don't know, it's been an interesting experiment so far. And as I told you guys many times before, that my goal is to try and find the best diet for me to be able to keep my body in a place that I'd love it to be in. But at the same time, I still live life, and I love life, and I still want to enjoy things at the same time. But I gotta know that when there's a time for it and when there's